check here. Pause. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to BlueSync. My name is JD. Of course, I'm your digital marketing and technologies manager, and I am really excited to share with you guys. If you were on the ASC training a couple of weeks ago, I was going to talk about one thing that stopped working the day before. We were going to talk about it. And then the day that we jumped on, it was working again, but we already had plan B in place. So I'm kind of going back to plan A here. And I want to show you guys something called MarketQuest. Now, it is a tool that has been available in CB Desk for a little while now, but something that I've only really been paying attention to for probably the past 2 or 3 months, but it is a huge game changer in what we and our agents can put out in our social media, emails, and really anywhere that we're interacting with clients. Because I've talked about this in a lot of trainings over the past year or so, but as the market has shifted for, I'd say, the past 12 months or so, there are a lot of news articles and headlines and, not just articles, but like TV segments or whatever, where you see like, is the market unstable? Is this happening? And that's oftentimes the only things consumers see is they see, well, I saw this headline on the news, so the market must not be doing so well. Which in reality might not be true at all. So what I've been trying to push our agents to do, and our marketing group as a whole have been really pushing, is for agents to really leverage local market stats to share the truth, to share what's going on in their markets, which not only A, gives people accurate, relevant information, but B, brands them as the local expert, the real estate expert in their market, in their town. And one of the tools our agents can use to assist in that is something called MarketQuest. So I'm in CB Desk right now. I've rearranged mine so it's kind of right front and center, but it's called MarketQuest. It is one of the most powerful and probably easiest tools to use in Desk. And I mean that very genuinely. So I'm in Desk, I clicked on MarketQuest, and it's going to bring me here. Now, I have access to all of our MLSs in here. You or your agents probably just have the ones local to you, but I'm going to use one of the Michigan ones here just because I know where I live better than necessarily out of region. So when I'm logged into MarketQuest here, I've chosen my MLS, and you're going to see 5 different things along the bottom here, 5 different tools that you can leverage within MarketQuest. Now, my number one favorite is Market Snapshot, and I'll show you why. But number one claims is also pretty cool. But basically what this does is this is getting data fed directly from these MLSs, and it does the math for you. It aggregates the data for you. So I used to say what you could do if you wanted to do a market report, either for a video or for your clients, is run a hot sheet, run some information from your MLS, look at that information, and then dissect what is or isn't relevant for your clients. That can be tricky. 1, if you're a new agent and you're still kind of getting the ropes of the MLS and the information in there. And 2, if you just don't have the time to do that, because it can take a lot of time. So I want to show you guys what this market snapshot thing does. Because market position and market trends are basically more reports. It's very good information, but they're a little more report and lots of information, whereas the market snapshot is awesome. It says, the market snapshot is a monthly view of the top 5 statistics in the real estate market. These stats are compared with the previous 3 months average. So here's what we do. I click on market snapshot, and it looks like a lot here. I promise you it's pretty straightforward. First thing I've done is I have my MLS chosen. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to put in Rockford, Michigan. And so I put in Rockford, and already it's saying, hey, are you looking for the city of Rockford within your MLS? But what's cool, just as a little sub thing, is that if you look over here, I can do the Rockford city. I could also run a report on the Rockford school district, or apparently there's a subdivision called Rockford City. But I'm just going to choose the city. So I'm doing the city of Rockford. And location filters, you can drill down even more, which aren't super relevant once you've chosen the location you want. But you've got city, zip, MLS area, school district, all those different options there. And then you have report filters, where right now I'm running it on single family, townhome, and condos, right? Your general residential options. And then the last thing is the time period. I'm doing this specifically for April 2023, but you can do custom date range as well. So in reality, I've clicked on Market Snapshot. I've chosen Rockford as a city, and I've done nothing else. And I'm going to go down here and click Update. And it's going to generate for me a report that shows the data going on in town. So I've got April compared to the last 3 months, the average sales price, median sales price, average list price, average days in market, month supply of inventory. Now, the thing is that I might look at this and go, okay, well, apparently the average sales price has remained relatively stagnant, or the list price is stagnant, and the median sales price has gone down 2%. Well, that's not something that I really want to share as an update. What you can do is if I go up here to the edit data points, I can click on that and I have all of these options right here. So I can say, you know what, I'm going to take off the average sales price version there, and I'm going to do the sales price versus list price ratio. Or I might go, the median sales price has gone down 2%. I think I want to talk more about how the average sales price per square foot has gone up. And then a big one that people are always wondering about is how many new listings. Are people even listing their homes? I might say, hey, I'm going to take off the average list price, and I'm going to say, I want to talk about the new listings. And then I'm going to click save. And it's going to update my graphic again to those 5 points. So now I've got the data that I want to share. I can do it on social media. I can do it wherever. And what's cool about this, besides them just doing all of that math for me, is I can go up here to share snapshot, and I can either download it as a graphic, but what's cool is I can do a wide version. I can do a tall version for like an Instagram story or a Facebook story, or I could do a square for social media for an Instagram post or a Facebook post. And now I've got this graphic downloaded just like that with my contact info at the bottom and 5 data points on what's going on in the market. Branded, you've got the fine print down here based on data from the MLS, 3 months average, et cetera, et cetera. So you've got the disclaimer taken care of, and you've got the information right there too. The other thing that's cool though, is you go, hey, this is great data. I want to use it as a postcard. Well, good news, share snapshot. If I go to download and then postcard, it's going to download a PDF for me that I can now share here and bring to the marketing group and say, hey, I have a postcard here that I would like to put my, that to use this on the front, and the back is my info and the postage and all that kind of stuff. But they're going ahead and taking the info and formatting it for you in 4 different ways so that you can leverage it how it makes the most sense for you. So that's I can do the Rockford. I can go, okay, I'm going to take Rockford off here, and I'm going to search for Holland instead. Holland, Michigan, update, boom, there's the same, it starts with the same points for me, but then I can go back and say, okay, well, if I look at this one, I can say, the average sales price is on the rise, and the median and the average list price is going up, and go boom. And so again, I've changed the data points that I want to share, and I can download the graphics and download the postcards just like that. Sarah asked, should we always use the square option for social media? Yes, if you're doing a post, if you're doing like a post on Facebook or Instagram, then yes, the square option is going to be your best shot. It's the most universal and looks the best on devices. If you're going to post it for like a Facebook story or whatever, I'm downloading the tall one right now to show you what that looks like. But then you could take this graphic, and this is formatted for kind of like when you do a story or something, that one of those 24-hour sorts of pieces. But yes, as a post, the square option is always going to be your best bet because it's going to look the best no matter where. Let me see the other chat. There are 2 pictures in the background. Is there a way to find any more? Maria, great question. So Maria asked, there are 2 pictures for the background right now. Is there any way to add more? And the bad news is not easily. The good news is that I'm already in the works of doing that. So basically, we don't have the capabilities, but our brand ambassadors do. So I'm working on compiling a handful of photos for each of our regions that they can hopefully, from what I've been told, upload into the backend so we have access. So you have access to those depending on your like DBA association. So that is in the works right now, but I know they have also been asked for more options. So I wouldn't be surprised if they add that as an option as well. And just so you guys know, the way to do that is if you go up to the upper right-hand corner where you see my little face sticking out there, and I click on settings, there's a little section right here that says background image, select your background. I can select it, and I have the 2 options right here. So it's not, it's not super nice because they're good images, but of course we want things that are a little more localized. So working on that right now. The other thing I'd say though, Maria, to that point is, and I've had we have had agents do this already, where if you get the data here, I'll go Grand Haven and I update it. I have the data. I go, hey, the data is great, but I don't want this graphic. send this graphic to a designer that you're working with in the marketing group, and they can make a custom graphic for you with this information and add the disclaimer and stuff like that. So they can keep the same format and just change the background, or they can just change the layout of the graphic completely and still have all the information there. But I know this seems really simple because it is, but I also want to really try to drive home just how powerful this is. Our agents now have, and us, we now have direct access to not only MLS data like we've had, but the calculations and the math for that. I don't have to spend 30, 40 minutes doing the math and the division and the columns to go, okay, this feels like a relatively close and accurate snapshot that I can share with my clients. Boom, this is it done for you right away. I talked about this in a BombBomb training, and just as a real quick side note, if you're doing video, if you're an agent or you have agents who are doing video, they don't even need to post this graphic. They can use this as the video content. So I can have this up on my screen and I'm doing a BombBomb, and I'm sharing the information and telling people why this matters. So for example, the average days on market for Grand Haven comparatively is down 67% in April compared to the past 3 months. What that means is that homes are now selling quicker and are sitting on the market less. So if you see a home that you're interested in, it's going to become more and more important to act on that right away, as opposed to waiting a little bit, right? You take the information and tell me why it's important. So that's the big part. The market snapshot is my favorite part. Market trends, you can see on the left over here, you can toggle between the options. It's very much the same information, just a little more long form. So it gives me all those data points for Grand Haven, but I can dissect it by the median sales price graph and the sales price to list ratio. Like, you can see a lot more here. And then they give you a little bit more context. So the market trends are also fantastic, but they are more in depth. But again, this could be great information for agents new to the market to really help get a handle on practical data points. Last thing I want to show is one of the first things that in the office that I started with in Holland, the manager, Bernie, one of the first things he joked about with me is how easy it is to make a #1 claim. Because it's very easy to say, hey, we are #1 in Holland with an asterisk, and then say between 1st and 4th Street and the intersections of blah, blah, blah. Right? You can be #1 no matter how, as long as your parameters get further and further down. Well, the brand is now taking care of that for you. So if I go over here to #1 claims, and I have the MLS here, and I'm going to go ahead and just put in, I'll put a location filter in. We'll just do, where am I looking for? I'd love to do just Ottawa County if I can find Ottawa County. So I'm going to do a location report for Ottawa County in West Michigan, and it's going to give me all of these #1 claims that we have. So, and it is comparative, I believe, for a certain time. Or let me do last year. I'll do a time period of last year. That'll help. That'll change the data a little bit if I update it. So what it'll do is it'll say, hey, our brokerage last year was #1 in total volume, 41.19 million. So I can take that and say, not only is it calculating the info, one, it's going to show you the other brokerages right there. And also it's going to give you social media images to download for that. So I could go to this one right here, the #1 graph. I could download the square. And now I have a graph that shows our brokerage versus the other ones, and say, this is how we compared to these other brokerages. Now, I would be careful with these just in general, because sometimes it can be playing with fire when you're naming other brokerages. So I'm not saying I recommend that, but again, the info, as it will say in every disclaimer, is deemed reliable. It comes straight from the MLS. If you ever see something that doesn't feel right, like that, that's something we can bring to them and talk about. But it is cool to be able to go here and say, here are all of these results that we can use for #1 claims. Michelle says she is the #1 ASC in her office. I could not agree more with that. I am not arguing with that even a little bit. And I'm going to see if I can find a graphic for you to share in your office. Stephanie says, will this be on the YouTube channel by tomorrow morning, afternoon? Oh, Spotify decided to work 15 minutes later. That's wild. Yes, Stephanie, it will be. I'm going to upload this as soon as we get off. It should be on the YouTube channel within an hour or two. But it will also be in Blue Matters Monday as well. You take the food chain to see if they can make the graphic without the other company names. Yes, that is also, yes, Tom, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of that for the obvious reasons. So I'd say, again, sort of a Worst case scenario, you could have the design team sort of try to like copy some of that or to try to edit some of that out. I do believe too, if you go back here, you can do one without the graph. So I could just do this social image here, and it's not going to have the graph of comparisons, but it is going to say ranked #1, Ottawa County, the latest number, say it all. And I've actually ran, or not ran ads, but done posts like this where I use that sort of verbiage where I say, the numbers speak for themselves. We blah, 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 blah. And they actually are super, super effective. So I think that'd be my default for now, but I agree. Having the graph without the brokerages would be really nice. Okay. So I think it's fair to say all of you guys in your offices are probably the #1 ASC. If not, then there are 2 of you and you're probably tied for it, you know, but either way, I think that's something we should, especially with like, I think it was Employee Appreciation Week. I should work with Carrie and get some graphics out for our #1 ASCs in the market. So this is the info I had for you guys today. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but I cannot relay just how powerful this tool is, that all of this data is right here at our fingertips, whether we download the graphics from here or we bring that data to one of our designers to work on and make it look the way you want to. This is super powerful data, calculated live. You can do it day by day to be like, hey, has it changed since yesterday? Has it changed since yesterday? And it's really, really good stuff. So thank you guys for your time as always. I will get this recording up as soon as I can. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, everybody.